There's something really special about sewing for a destination. The whole time you're making the clothes, you're imagining where you'll wear them, and when you're finally there, those pieces become part of the memories you bring home. So after months of planning and sewing for a special trip to Paris, I finally got to find out whether my perfect travel wardrobe actually worked in real life. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Sarai, and I've been sewing for almost 30 years and teaching you how to create a meaningful custom wardrobe for the last 15. Today, I'm taking you through the full capsule. What I made, why I made it, and how each piece held up across 8 days in Paris. I've had this really special trip to Paris with my mom planned for months, and I've been diligently working on sewing an almost entirely handmade wardrobe for the trip. We were going there to celebrate both my mom's birthday and a milestone for one of my big projects, which I'll share with you guys soon. My mom is in her 70s and we live in different cities. We hadn't spent this much time together in years, so this was a really special trip for both of us. I think travel is all about creating meaningful memories, and when you make clothing for travel, it becomes imbued with those memories too. Plus, the whole time you're sewing, you get to look forward to the trip. I made 5 new pieces specifically for this trip and rounded out the capsule with a couple of older makes I already loved. For packing, I used the Index app to map out exactly what I was bringing. I love saving each travel capsule in there, so I have a real archive to pull from for future trips. The weather was going to be all over the place. A rainy 55 degrees on day 1, climbing to nearly 90 degrees by the end of the week. So I knew I needed variety, light layers, breathable fabrics, and pieces that could shift from day to evening without a full change. And if you want to plan a travel wardrobe like this for your next trip, the free Seamwork wardrobe planning kit has everything you need to get started. It includes our wardrobe planner plus essential tips to help you create a customized plan for your next season of sewing. Link is in the description below. Let me show you what I brought and how I wore it on the trip. We arrived in Paris on a rainy day and I immediately unpacked everything. The first day was going to be cool in the 60s, so I wore my thistle cardigan with the beading on the collar and my old favorite Chelsea jeans in dark denim. Let me tell you about making this cardigan. Then I'll show you how I wore it in Paris. The thistle is a straight cut cardigan with semi-fitted sleeves and a soft flat lay collar. A really simple, versatile silhouette. I made mine an ivory merino wool interlock from the fabric merchant. I love merino wool for travel. It naturally regulates your temperature, so it's genuinely comfortable on a cool rainy day without feeling heavy or stifling. This merino interlock is much lighter than a traditional wool knit too, thin enough to pack without adding much bulk. And it repels odors naturally, which matters a lot when you're somewhere hot or somewhere people smoke a lot of cigarettes. Whether you're wearing it on its own or layering it over a dress, merino adapts, which is exactly what a travel wardrobe needs. I'd also been eyeing my Japanese beading book for a while, and that flat lay collar was the perfect canvas. So I added hand-beaded embroidery along the edge, little flower motifs and silver glass beads with pearl centers. Sitting and beading for a couple of hours while listening to music was genuinely one of the most enjoyable parts of the whole process. But when I washed the cardigan for the first time, disaster struck. The water-soluble marker I'd used to trace button placement started bleeding everywhere. Turns out the ink was getting trapped inside the buttons. It took about 5 washes to come out completely. Something to keep in mind if you're using covered or shank buttons with marker tracing. Now let me show you how I wore it on the first day of the trip. We headed to the Marais for vintage shopping, a walk through a marché, in the Picasso Museum, which was absolutely stunning. I had no idea how sweeping his range was until I saw that much work in one place. That evening, we were headed to a tiny Italian restaurant in one of Paris's covered passages, so I changed into my lilac dress, a polka dot rayon challis midi from last year's summer sewing. It's an oldie, but I decided to bring it because it's very lightweight, easy to mix and match, and very layerable. I threw the thistle over it, along with a short trench coat since it was still quite cool. A perfect first full evening in the city. Day 2 was still cool but clearing up. I wore the Chelsea jeans again with a new merino Alice tee in pale pink from Yard Blocks with a vintage silk scarf. This is my 4th Alice, which really tells you everything you need to know. It's a semi-fitted long sleeve knit top, dead simple to sew, and merino is just unbeatable for travel. The fine rib I used is almost sheer, which makes it surprisingly versatile. I could wear it with a camisole underneath or layer it under some of my pinafore style dresses or even overalls. I got the whole top out of less than a yard with some strategic cutting. And since I've made this so many times before, sewing it was really fast. I finished the entire thing in about an hour and a half. We'd spent a lot of time in the Picasso Museum the day before. So on the second day, we decided to go back to the Marais and explore the neighborhood some more. We checked out some amazing vintage stores, and I got some black sesame ice cream with bits of halva in it. Oh my gosh, you guys, so good. I'm obsessed with all things sesame. Then we walked through some gardens, including the Jardin des Plantes, during the golden hour. It was absolutely stunning, and I was really glad I was able to see it in bloom. The merino wool was the perfect layer for the weather today. Super breathable and comfy and thin enough for a spring day. This is just such a great layering top. The next day, we were going to spend the day walking around Montmartre, and it was going to be quite a bit warmer. I wore my new denim Orla skirt with a pink vintage lightweight sweater on top. The Orla is a chic A-line mini with princess seam panels front and back, inseam pockets with the button closure, and a fully faced waist. I love this silhouette so much, I've made it twice. This version is in a Japanese selvage denim from Emma One Sock. I was originally drawn to a darker denim in the same shop, but when I held up my white top stitching thread against both, the selvage won easily. The texture is beautiful and the contrast stitching really sings against it. To sew the skirt, I set up 3 different machines. My Janome for the construction, my Bernina to do the top stitching, plus the serger for the seam allowances. It sounds like a lot, but it makes sewing denim so much faster and more enjoyable. I left the pink thread in my serger from a previous project because honestly, it was easier and the pink against dark blue denim on the inside of the seams looks really pretty. It's a good reminder that you don't necessarily need to match your serger thread to your fabric if it's not going to show on the outside. I also used the white top stitching thread to sew a nice wide hem to give the skirt a little bit more body at the hemline. It was absolutely perfect for visiting the Marché Saint-Pierre, a huge 7-story fabric store. I ended up buying some gorgeous pieces in the tiny discount shop right across the street, including this beautiful cotton shirting, a tencel blend eyelet, a floral viscose twill, and this very sheer organdy-like embroidered fabric. We finished the afternoon at the Musée de la Vie Romantique, sitting in the garden with a snack from the Rose Bakery. We were headed out for something very special that evening, so I changed into my white polka dot freesia dress. I also brought my raspberry pink orchid bed jacket to layer over the top, just in case. The freesia has been on my to-make list since we started designing it over a year ago. It's a pull-on style with an empire waist, a fully lined straight grain bodice with gathers at the underbust, and a soft keyhole tie at the neckline, and a bias cut skirt that just moves beautifully. Mine is in a viscose georgette from Yard Blocks. It's not totally sheer, but you can definitely see through it. Ultimately, I decided not to line the skirt because I generally prefer to wear bike shorts under a light dress like this to keep cool. A few details from construction. I decided to do French seams for the side seams since they're fairly straight. I also used a long, narrow zigzag instead of a straight stitch on the side seams, which is what I prefer to do for long vertical seams on anything that's bias cut, because it allows the seams to stretch. Once the dress was almost done, I hung it up overnight before hemming to let the bias relax, then finished with a tiny baby hem. If you want more tips like this, be sure to watch the video I did recently on sewing bias cuts. I absolutely love this dress, and it's just so comfortable and pretty. I would definitely make it again in other rayon fabrics for my stash. I did notice that the polka dots look slightly askew on the skirt because the dots are not printed in an exact 45-degree angle, but I did double check while cutting and I was 100% sure that I'd cut on the true bias, so it's just something I have to live with. The Orchid is a boxy, vintage-inspired bed jacket with a V-neck, a single tie closure, and wide bracelet-length sleeves. Mine is in a raspberry pink rayon satin with scalloped lace trim at the neckline and sleeve edges. When I was planning my capsule, I wanted a lighter layering piece for the warmer nights when a cardigan would be too hot, or in case I wanted to cover my shoulders from the sun during the day. A romantic bed jacket is perfect for that. I didn't end up needing the jacket that night much, but I had it just in case. I wore these 2 pieces to a concert in the historic Sainte-Chapelle church that evening, where there was a performance of Vivaldi's Four Seasons. The musicians were incredible. The church was stunning and completely enclosed you in stained glass. It was a magical night for me and my mom. Today was going to be nearly 90 degrees and we were going to be outside for a good part of the day, so I needed something cool to wear. I wore my cotton gauze posy dress in a floral print, along with my blue Adidas sneakers for all the walking. The posy is a surplice wrap style dress with a fitted bodice and a short A-line skirt. Feminine and easy. I decided to sew this as a wearable muslin version before cutting into my pink rayon fabric. Not so much because I wanted to test the fit, but more because I wanted to test the construction before I made any changes to it. I noticed that this fabric snags really easily while I was cutting it, so I switched to a microtex needle, which is extra sharp. This little dress held up well against the heat, but I noticed one problem. The wrap front didn't mix well with a crossbody bag and film camera on a strap, so I had to do a lot of adjusting. Just something to keep in mind with wrap styles. We headed out on the metro for the flea market at Saint-Ouen, which was incredible. This is a sprawling, enormous flea market with several different sections depending on what you're looking for. I came away with vintage lithographs and a little Italian cotton dress for 30 euros that I'm already planning to style with a leather belt for date night. You could spend 2 full days there easily, although next time I come to Paris, I'd love to explore some of the other flea markets in the city too. Another 90-degree day. I wore my denim Orla again, clearly in the lead as the hardest working piece in my capsule at this point, and a vintage crochet top and sneakers. I don't normally wear sneakers much, but considering the amount of walking we were doing, I wore them almost every day. We went to the Hilma af Klint exhibit at the Grand Palais, which was absolutely incredible. She was a Swedish artist and perhaps the first abstract artist in the early 20th century. I felt so inspired by her work, which is rooted in mysticism, color theory, and the motifs of traditional Scandinavian folk art. If you have a chance to see this exhibit, go. Day 6 was hot again. We were exploring more of Paris's covered passages. At this point, I really wish that I'd packed some sandals, but I had to make do with sneakers for all the walking. I wore my rayon jacquard posy dress in this warm pink shade with scalloped edges, which I recently showed you how to create in another video. This was my final version of posy and the one I really wanted to make. The jacquard is gorgeous, though I didn't realize how easily it wrinkles until I got it home. The main detail I wanted to add with this dress is a machine scalloped hem. One small change I made on this version was to shorten the sleeve hems just a tad, since I thought it just worked better with this hem. I made a whole video about how to do edges and hems like this recently, so if you want to see more about how I did it, definitely watch that video too. It's such a pretty detail, and even though it's time consuming, it's not that hard to do if you have the right tools and technique. This dress was a total labor of love, but it really felt like I'd made something special when it was done. When I started planning this capsule, I wrote down that I wanted it to feel soft, romantic, and a little vintage inspired. I was thinking about Parisian flower shops and antique lace and soft pastel petals. And honestly, what I didn't expect is how completely that vision would hold up across 8 days of flea markets and fabric stores and cobblestone streets in 90-degree heat. The intention and the reality really lined up, which if you sew, you know doesn't always happen. And there's actually one piece I didn't sew that I'm very glad that I packed: my bicycle shorts. I wore these bike shorts under every single dress for 8 days in Paris, and it made all the difference. Here's why. First, when you're navigating cobblestones and flea markets, you need to be able to crouch, bend, and move freely without thinking twice. Second, in 90-degree heat, chafing on your thighs from walking all day is a real problem. Bike shorts were a lifesaver here. A handmade wardrobe still needs supporting players, and giving yourself permission to include them is what makes the whole thing actually work. And quick reminder, the free Seamwork wardrobe planning kit is a great place to start if you're thinking about building your own travel capsule. Everything you need is in there, including the wardrobe planner and tips for making it actually work. The link is in the description. The heat wave continued into day 7, and I wore the polka dot lilac dress again. This time, I styled it with striped socks and red Mary Janes that are secretly walking shoes with excellent arch support. A little more whimsical than I usually dress, but I needed the socks to prevent blisters. We had tickets to the Serge Gainsbourg House and Museum. I am a big Gainsbourg fan, so it was fascinating to see where he lived with Jane Birkin. And the audio tour is narrated by his daughter, Charlotte Gainsbourg. Even my mom loved it, and she had no idea who he was. It was really immersive. Afterwards, we went to La Petite Chaise for dinner, one of the oldest restaurants in Paris. This was the perfect day-to-night outfit. I felt dressed up enough for dinner without having to change. For our last full day in Paris, I wore my denim Orla again, this time paired with my beloved fern blouse in a Liberty print that I made last year. You can find more about the fern in my video from last summer, the same one where I shared the lilac dress that I mentioned. I love that I got to mix in favorites from other seasons for this capsule too. It really highlights the power of building an intentional wardrobe. We decided to have a slow and quiet day, heading over to the Parc Monceau to wander and take pictures and explore the neighborhood. I couldn't believe how many Parisians were out sunning themselves in the 90-degree heat. It was my mom's birthday, so that night we went out to a lovely dinner to celebrate for our final night in Paris. If any of this has you thinking about building a capsule like this for your own trip, my spring sewing plan video walks through the entire process. How to pick patterns that travel well, fabrics worth considering for the season, and how to think about a cohesive wardrobe before you start cutting. Watch this video next.